Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pick a Side. And no, I'm not wearing the same T-shirt. It's just 1 week apart, and I got a lot of white T-shirts.
You start with a corny joke every time.
But look. I'm the only one inside an actual house right now. You two are in the car, and I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. But okay, so we have 4 segments today. One of them is which team that made the playoffs in the NFL last season won't make it this upcoming season. Then we're going to talk about the best teams to never win an NBA championship. After that, we're going to play a little game, love it or hate it, NFL free agency edition, QB edition. And then the last segment is which player that got traded this past offseason in the NFL will make the most impact on their new team. So, Riv, start it up.
All right, so as you guys know, with the new rule in play, there's 7 teams to make the playoffs this year, NFC and AFC. And with free agency over and the draft done, you can kind of see how the league is shaping up to be. So we're going to start off with Joel. Joel, give me your pick for the NFC. Who you think ain't going to make it?
This is an easy pick. It was a team that had the worst draft out of any team in the NFL, possibly. And that team is the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers won't make the playoffs next season. I know people love Aaron Rodgers, but the Packers failed to give him any help. They lost Brian Bulaga, and they didn't draft any receivers, and they needed receivers. They lost Blake Martinez, Kyle Fackrell. They lost a lot of guys, Jimmy Graham as well. So I just don't see them making the playoffs this upcoming year. I think that the Vikings have a better roster. Chicago has a better roster as well. And I just think that last year they kind of had an easy schedule and kind of had an easy road to the playoffs. They're probably the worst 13-3 team I've ever seen in my life. And nobody was scared to face the Green Bay Packers. They were a really beatable team last year. So I don't think they make the playoffs next season. And I don't know what the future holds for Aaron Rodgers.
So you think the Eagles are going to make the playoffs?
Do I think the Eagles will make the playoffs?
Yes. No, shut up. I got your answer. Thank you. JC, give me your pick for NFC. Who you think going to miss the playoffs and why?
All right, so it's funny you just spoke on the Eagles. I actually think that they will not make the playoffs.
You're a hater.
And I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. All right, so let's start with the Eagles. I mean, they have an injury-plagued roster. I mean, we saw that last year. You're an Eagles fan. You could attest to that. Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey wasn't that good, that productive last year. And then your quarterback, Carson Wentz, who I'm very fond of, but he's starting to have a track record of not being able to finish seasons, like Joel has said.
Yeah.
So there's a big question mark with him, because if he's not there,
yeah.
And how dependable has he been? Really?
That's fair. That's fair.
I think you guys had one great free agency signing. I think Darius Slay was the best one, but you signed a total of 9 contracts, and 3 of them are not longer than a year. So you're gonna lose a lot of players. So I mean, my pick is the Eagles. Like I said, injury-plagued roster. Deshaun Jackson, I can't really trust him as much. Alshon Jeffrey, I know how you feel about him. You know how I feel about him. I don't think he's good at all.
Yo, Joel thinks he's good, bro.
Alshon Jeffrey isn't bad, though.
Joel thinks he's good, bro.
He's not bad.
Look. He's good, but he's not a number 1. He's not
number 2.
He'd be a good number. I won't be mad to have him as a number 2. As a number 1, which he slotted on your team, he's not good.
That's what I've been saying.
And then it draws back to your quarterback, Carson Wentz. I love him. I think he's talented, but this dude can't stay healthy for anything. So the team that I have missing the playoffs is the Eagles from the NFC.
I mean, to Carson Wentz's defense, he was healthy. He was healthy last year. He just got injured in a playoff game. But I was kind of like confused at the comment that Riv made. I picked the Packers to not make the playoffs. That does not mean I think the Eagles will make the playoffs.
I asked the question, bro. I just asked the question. So
I know. I thought that you assumed that the Eagles. I thought the Eagles were gonna make it because I picked the Packers to not make it.
Oh no, with us, I never assume anything because the injuries always interfere with us, so I don't assume anything. You picked the Eagles because of injuries. You picked the Packers because they had the dumbest draft of all time. Moving on to the AFC, JC, we're going to start off with you. Who are you going to pick and why?
Okay, so in the AFC, it's kind of It's kind of the same as the Eagles. I have the Houston Texans not making the playoffs. Reason is because, like the Eagles, I think they have an even more injury-plagued roster. I mean, they got Brandon Cooks, who didn't play much last year, Will Fuller, David Johnson, haven't seen him play a lick of football in 2 years, Randall Cobb, J.J. Watt's always hurt. I feel like we don't talk about that enough. Yo, that dude is always hurt. He's always hurt.
He's so good, though. Like,
he's really good when he plays. Don't get me wrong. He's elite, but, dude, he's just always hurt every year. Like, I can count on J.J. Watt to always be hurt. Yeah, and I think they gave up their best player in DeAndre Hopkins. And like I said, I don't think Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, and Randall Cobb, they can't stay healthy. I don't even think two of them could match the production that he has. So I'm going to say the Texans are not going to make the playoffs.
Wow. Two of them can't match.
I mean, honestly, so Riv, what would you rather have? DeAndre Hopkins, or would you rather have Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller?
Is that a serious question? Like, are you really asking
That's
that?
what I'm saying. I'll do it. Who would you rather have? DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, and Randall Cobb, or DeAndre Hopkins? Like, who would you rather have?
Only because Nuke is gonna play 16 games. That's really it. Like, if they're all four of them healthy, I would take the 4, obviously. But
I mean, the three.
I mean, I take the 3.
You're counting David Johnson.
Nah, I would take the 2.
But Nuke is gonna be healthy for 16 games. We know that. But Joel, talk to me. AFC, who you got and why?
So look, I was kind of upset because JC took my pick, and I had to think about teams. I had to think about which teams made the playoffs in the AFC. So I'm glad you didn't call me first. So the first team I thought about maybe the Titans. They might not make the playoffs, but
they were no. Right?
I said no. I can't just let go of my faith in Ryan Tannehill that easy.
Yeah, you can't.
It's not gonna happen.
You can't go back.
But then I can, because then I remember that there's a team in the AFC East that just lost the best quarterback of all time in the Patriots. So of course I could pick that team not to make the playoffs.
That's a good one.
Even though the Texans was my first pick.
That's a good one.
The Texans was my first pick. They were my first pick. But, I mean, the Patriots, they have no offensive weapons. I'm not sure if David Andrews will be healthy. They drafted a bunch of tight ends. I don't know, like, if they're going to be good. And I'm not sure Jarrett Stidham. Like, I think Jarrett Stidham can be a really good quarterback in the league. But I don't think that he'll be a really good one out the bat because the weapons around him are just so horrible. Their defense is probably going to have to lead them. And I don't know, a tougher schedule. I don't see them making playoffs this upcoming season.
That's not a bad pick at all, actually.
Those are good picks. I like those.
I had to save Tannehill to Manahill. That's what it's all about.
I'd have picked the Patriots too. I'd have picked the Vikings though for the NFC. That's what I'd have picked to not make the playoffs.
The Vikings?
Yeah, I'd have had the Vikings not making it.
All right. Talking about the playoffs, we talked about which teams we think will not make the playoffs. This next segment is about which teams were the best teams to never win a NBA championship. So we're switching over to the NBA. So I kind of get a feeling of the pick that Rivers gonna pick. I'm not sure what JC's gonna pick. But so JC, I want to hear yours first. What team do you think is the best team to never win an NBA championship?
Okay, so this was very hard. I was stuck between 3 teams, but the team that I felt should have won a championship, but they didn't, was the 2012 to 2013 San Antonio Spurs. And I'm going to tell you why. They had a 58-24 record, which is the 3rd best record in the league. In that season, they were 3rd on the defensive end of the basketball and 6th on the offensive side. They played LeBron. Now, I'm a big LeBron fan. Everybody knows this, but I can't hear you.
They played LeBron.
Okay, they played the Heat. Don't
do that.
Yeah, my fault. Okay, they played the Heat.
But come on, we know that LeBron was like the Heat, though. You know
that series. I mean, Dwayne Wade was the only other one. Chris Bosh had a solid series. Dwayne Wade was kind of on a decline. That was like
he was still there though. Like he was
no. Okay, so I mean, Chris Bosh got a rebound. Ray Allen hit a shot. They went to 7. But I mean, it's funny because the next year that they did win the championship, they were identical in the rankings. They were 3rd in defense and 6th in offense. They had 2 All-Stars that year, and they had Greg Popovich, who's he's one of the best coaches of all time, And I would like to point out that Kawhi Leonard at the free throw line really did miss 2 free throws that could have iced the game. So it was a lot of just mishaps instead of they beat themselves instead of them losing in game 6, which I thought it was over. Then they went to 7, and then, Miami won the championship, and the rest is history. But I felt like the Spurs should have won that year, and I mean, everything backs it up. The next year, they had the same exact offensive and defensive ranking with the same coach, the same players, and they won it. But 2012, 2013, they lost to the Miami Heat in 7. So, what do you think, Riv?
That's a pretty good pick. That's a nice, solid pick. I really do like that pick.
Okay.
I have two teams in mind.
I know he's gonna face.
I was gonna go with another team because another team. I just want to shout out this team because the team just ran into Michael Jordan. But I want to shout out this team. I think the Seattle Supersonics with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp was a really, really great team. Shout out to them. But my pick should be everybody's pick, and it's obvious. It's the 73-9 Golden State Warriors of 2016. They had the Defensive Player of the Year in Draymond Green. They had the unanimous MVP ever in Steph Curry. Like, they had 3 All-Stars that year, Steph, Clay, and Dre. They had the number 1 record in the league. They were beating teams by margin records. Steph Curry sat out record 4th quarters. He only played like 31 minutes. He shot a 50-40-90 club. I mean, there shouldn't be much to really say. They lost because stuff happens. They lost to 7 to LeBron, Kyrie. But I think that's the best team ever. They had all the things you could have asked for. The MVP. They won MVP, DPOI. They had the best record in the league. So I personally think
they were the best home team that year too. They
were the best everything. They were just the best that team. They just stuff happens in the finals and they lost. I think that's the best team of all time to not win a chip.
Can I ask you what was the main factor in them losing? You think it was a Draymond Green suspension? Like what made that series turn into the Cavs' favor?
I mean, you could say that, but like Draymond came back and they was losing. So it's like it's a lot of things that happened. I really honestly I don't think you could pinpoint one thing. I think they just choked realistically.
Is it fair to say Steph Curry underperformed in that finals?
Yeah, he did. He underperformed. He got outplayed. Yeah, but they were still winning with him getting outplayed. I don't know what happened. They just started. I don't even know. Draymond gets suspended. Momentum gone. They started getting
Bogut was hurt. Andrew Bogut got hurt.
Yeah, that's just stuff happens.
So I'm pretty sure that you picked the Supersonics because they're fresh on your mind after watching episode 8 of the documentary.
I was just watching.
So record-wise, and I guess all these records like offensive efficiency, all these other numbers point to the Warriors being the best team to ever win a championship. But I'm not sure if that 2012-2013 Spurs team faces the Warriors that the Warriors would win. I'm not sure that
team was really good.
I think that record-wise, that team may have been quote unquote the best, but I think against other teams that have not won, they probably will lose.
First of all, if you're trying to talk about that Houston Rockets team, they will blow them out.
I'm not talking about the Rockets. I'm just talking about any other team.
Oh, okay. Because if you were going to talk about them, they're going to do them the way they've been doing them ever. So
they would not just to be frank. If the Rockets were facing them, the Rockets would blow the smoke off.
Yeah, I know with James Harden, right?
Matter.
Anyways, yeah, okay. Matching up 2012, 2013 Spurs with the Warriors, I think it'd be a really good matchup. Honestly, I think it honestly would be a really good matchup. I would take. I don't know because that team was. They still had Tim Duncan.
Tony Parker was an all-star.
That's a really
Ronnie was still averaging 18 that year off the bench.
That was
a really young Kawhi Leonard.
That was a good experience team. I like that team. I think I could put my money in Golden State and be okay with it. I think so. They have the unanimous MVP. They have him.
Has he been unanimous since? No.
Has anybody else been unanimous? What?
Fact, though. Nobody has.
Nobody else has been unanimous.
Well, Steph Curry should definitely have not been the first unanimous one. That's for sure.
I agree with that. I agree.
I agree. But hey, wait.
I just want you to know.
JC,
I just want you to know.
Will James? Wait. Will James Harden ever be unanimous?
There's a chance. There's a chance.
No.
There's a chance.
No.
The media doesn't
No.
like him, so the chances are highly unlikely they don't like the way he plays. Not a lot of people like the way he plays. So I guess it's more of a media thing.
You know, Joel, you love to throw jabs at Steph Curry. You love to do it. And it's funny to me, like, how you love to try to sneak in these little jabs. I let James Harden rest. You know, I let him rest. I try to keep him on my mind because inevitably he's a loser compared to Steph Curry. Like, he's just a loser compared to him. So I try to keep him away, you know, but, like, you just love to throw these jabs. What's your hate towards Steph Curry? Like, I'm curious. Why do you hate him?
I just call it how I see it. I just call it. That's all I can do. I just call it how I see it, and that's exactly what I see.
You know what he said on Twitter? You know what he said on Twitter the other JC, you know what he said on Twitter the other day that made me question his basketball tape?
Oh, Joel?
The question was asked, what made me fall in love with basketball? You know what his answer was? PJ Tucker.
What?
Yes, PJ
I love the way
Tucker.
PJ Tucker plays, and
Really?
he plays fresh on the court. He has all the freshest sneakers.
Really though? That's really your pick though?
Thank you, JC.
Yeah,
That's the same
I fell in
face I
love with
did.
basketball because of PJ Tucker. That's pretty obvious. PJ Tucker is one of the hardest working players. He's a hustler. He's just really good. He's a great defender, probably the best in the NBA. Even
Look at
Kevin
him.
Durant said so. I mean,
Somebody
look, I
like
don't think I can go wrong
LeBron or
with that
like
pick.
even James Harden.
Look,
they
that's
didn't
such
make
Jason
but
Terry?
those superstar picks are too obvious. You know, I like Tucker.
Oh, okay. So you're
He's
talking
an
about a player
underdog. He's a
that's
dark
from the
horse.
trenches in the underdog. Okay,
I like
okay.
PJ Tucker.
Still would
I like
not be my
PJ
pick
Tucker.
though, but
I
okay.
picked
I
Moses.
mean, to each their own. To each their own.
But
So
hold
you
up.
You fell in love with the game. Wait. So you fell in love with the game when he was in Phoenix?
Hold up.
Nah, he said that superstars was obvious, but a player that's underrated that he
Who
has
made
his
you-
eye out. Guess PJ Tucker.
It's weird to me.
Hold
PJ
up.
Tucker.
Before we actually let the pick aside audience believe that my favorite, the player that made me fall in love with basketball is PJ Tucker.
You wrote it.
Stop it. It's not. I wrote it, but obviously it's a troll tweet. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
what that is.
Oh, so you're
That's a troll
troller.
tweet.
So you're
I
admitting
didn't
you're a troller.
I didn't know we started taking everything said on Twitter serious now. I thought
Nah,
it
but
was
you do love
Twitter.
PJ Tucker though.
You do. You just said
Nah,
you do.
you do.
You just went hard
That's
for
why
him.
I'm pretty. You really fuck with him.
now
You
I
do
like
really
PJ
him.
Tucker, but he didn't make me fall in love with basketball.
We don't
Yeah,
know.
It's
You're
a troll
professional.
tweet. It's a
If you're a
troll tweet.
professional, you shouldn't be trolling. You were trolling. That's your fault. That's your fault. You got caught trolling. It's your fault.
Anybody control, professional or not. Anybody control. And honestly, I
So you're
wouldn't.
KD
Get
now.
Bayless trolls
It's not
all
me.
day.
It's not me, but I wouldn't be mad if somebody's favorite player was PJ Tucker and PJ Tucker made them fall in love with basketball.
What does he do that makes you fall in love with basketball?
Look, for
What?
one, he's
Shoot
probably the
corner
best.
three?
For one, he's probably one of the best corner 3-point shooters of all
Oh.
time. Shoots the highest percentage from there. He's probably one of the best.
That man shoots the shortest three.
Two, he always has the freshest sneakers on. He's a sneaker king.
Okay.
He is a sneaker
I
king.
saw a video where PJ Tucker was blindfolded and was able to name the name of sneakers. Who else can do that?
But
That's
he's
crazy. I
not.
never
But
seen it like that.
wait. He has all the sneakers in the world, but he's not the flyest in the league. Like, he's not even close.
He has the
So that
flyest
means
sneakers in the league.
No, he does.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's the flyer.
Way flyer. He's way
Come on.
Shai
You just have an
Gilgeous-Alexander's
affinity towards Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's all it is, honestly.
You have an
Lie.
affinity towards PJ Tucker. You love him. He sucks. He averages like 8
PJ Tucker
points.
does not
He's whack.
suck.
He's
You are
doodle.
ridiculous. You are ridiculous.
Bro, if Draymond's
You're
whack,
ridiculous.
PJ Tucker is whack. That's
PJ
it.
Tucker,
Like, that's
PJ
realistic.
Tucker would go on your team and start right now in this very moment.
Over Laurie? Are you
Yes,
dumb?
Lauri's hasn't been playing good.
He playing better than what's that man named PJ Tucker?
He's not more valuable than him on the court, and you know that.
Put PJ Tucker on our team and make him a second score option. What is he gonna do?
He's not more
Shoot
valuable.
corner threes all day?
He's not more
He can't
valuable.
dribble? He
He's
ain't
not.
got
You
no
know that.
move.
You know that. You know that.
Like, he ain't got
No,
no
he said he
move.
ain't got no moves.
What is he gonna do? Like,
So look,
he
this
can't
is enough.
box.
This is enough of you guys hating on Tucker and me
Nothing to
showing
hate
my
on.
love for Tucker. Because
He's like
obviously,
34.
I think JC loves PJ Tucker, to be honest, secretly. I think you, Riv, you were just a hater. But forget all of that. We're switching to the next segment. It's called Love It or Hate It, the NFL QB Free Agency Edition. We made the name after the game's famous classic song, Hate It or Love It. We just changed the words around, because we want our videos to pop up first on YouTube.
That song is fire.
So look, This is the first quarterback on the list, and this is the order that it's gonna go in. It's gonna go Riv first. He's gonna say love, hate, or like. Then it's gonna go JC. Then it's gonna go me, and I'm just gonna moderate all of them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
first
boss.
one, Tom Brady to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Love it, hate it, or like it. Riv, go.
I love it because I hated 30 for 30. I felt like Tom Brady is way better than Jameis Winston, so he'll put them in a winning mindset. Jameis Winston was a man who threw an emphatic amount of picks. So, yeah, I love that. I love the Tom Brady transaction.
I hate Tom Brady, but I love the move to Tampa Bay. I mean, you got him with the receivers like Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard. You got Rob Gronkowski coming back. I mean, this roster is set for him to make a run at the Super Bowl, so I love it.
You Jets fans hate Tom Brady. Like, it's like a real hate.
But I respect them, though. I respect them.
Do I love or hate the move? I love the move because obviously he's going to prove me right because I picked Tampa to make the playoffs. But I dislike your comment about Jameis Winston because, way better than Jameis Winston. They had the same quarterback rating last year. I mean,
wait, JC, you were here. You were here when he said this. Didn't he say no matter what team Winston is on, they're gonna make the playoffs?
Yeah, he's not starting.
But the Saints are gonna make it, right?
So you were wrong about that one because he's not gonna start. Not only is he not gonna start, he's not about to play.
How do you know that?
Stop.
You don't know that. You just said early on the show.
He's not saying the field if Drew Brees.
Earlier on the show, you said you never assume because injuries happen all the time. So why are you assuming now?
Okay. Barring any injuries, Jameis Winston will not see the field this
But that's
year.
assuming. That's assuming. I dislike your comment, but I love the move that Tom Brady made at Tampa. I love it. So now, next move. Phillip Rivers to the Indianapolis Colts. Love, hate, or like it. Riv, go.
I have no real feeling towards this move. I don't think Phillip Rivers is that good anymore. So I'm going to go with hate it. Yeah, I feel like he's not 30 for 30, but he's 20 for 20. So, yeah, I don't really
for 20.
I don't feel his move at all. So, yeah, I hate it.
I hate it. Phillip Rivers I feel like he's on the decline.
He's declined.
I just think he's on the decline. I don't know. I mean, how many wins did Jacoby Brissett get him last year?
7, right?
7.
I guess I could see Phillip. I guess I could see Phillip Rivers.
7 and 9.
A 1 or 2 more wins. Don't think it'll be good to make the playoffs. So I don't like the move.
I love it. I think the Colts are the favorite in the AFC South with this move, getting Phillip Rivers, and they got a great offensive line, so he's gonna be protected. And they drafted Michael Pittman, and I love Michael Pittman. He's gonna be a good receiver. So, I mean, look. I don't know what's your problem. I don't know what's your problem.
I don't know if he's healthy.
with hating or not liking these veteran great quarterbacks like Phillip Rivers. Like, come on, give him his respect. Just because he had an off year last year doesn't mean he's gonna have it this year. He's gonna have a bounce back year this year. And eat your words. Just how eat your words about a lot of players that you're wrong about on occasion.
My fault, Winston.
But look, this next pick, I feel like we're all gonna love it because it's just Drew Brees re-signing with the Saints. So we can probably skip that move.
Yeah.
So this is probably going to.
Oh wait, won't you hate it because Winston's not gonna start?
No, I love Drew Brees.
Oh, okay. Just had to.
Why would I? Yeah, I actually love it for Winston. I actually love it for and Winston.
He can teach him how to throw, right?
Winston is coming up, so we'll pump the brakes on that right now. But this is the move that we got to talk about. Teddy Bridgewater to the Panthers. Love, like, or hate it?
Wow. Like, I guess I like it for the moment. Just that he didn't play bad last year, so I like it for the moment to just get him some wins, but I don't see this as a future. I don't see him as being a quarterback for the foreseeable future. I feel like this is just a Band-Aid for a bigger situation. So I guess I'll like it for the moment.
I guess I like it. I mean, I can't say I love it. I can't say I hate it. I like it. I think he's a better option than Kyle Allen. Yeah, he's a better option than Kyle Allen. I know how many wins did the Panthers have last year? 5, right? 5-11. That's what they went.
Yep.
I think Teddy Bridgewater could maybe get you 2 more wins. I think this offense is gonna have to be carried by Christian McCaffrey again. But I mean, I
They don't
like
have
it.
Luke Kuechly either.
I guess Teddy Bridgewater, he is better than Kyle Allen. So I mean, I just have to fall in that middle line saying I like it.
I don't hate it, but I dislike it. I don't feel like that should have been their first choice. I don't know. Something about Teddy Bridgewater, about him just like
He throws the ball funny.
he's just too average. He's just an average player. Like, I think Teddy Bridgewater is a good
Chill, he's a Pro Bowler, bro.
He's a good placeholder quarterback, but
now he's good.
Carolina would have been far better getting a player that has superstar potential like Jameis Winston on their team, and not Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is that placeholder guy.
Pump the brakes.
Nah, Jameis Winston Jameis would have actually been a better option than Teddy, though, I think.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
What
the hell do you mean? What do you mean he has superstar potential?
Oh, nah, I ain't hear that part. I ain't hear that part. I ain't hear that part. Oh.
Jameis Winston, we're like year 5. What are you talking about? Where's that potential? I don't see it. You see it?
He threw for 5,000 yards. Only non-quarterbacks
and threw 30
in
damn
history
interceptions.
has ever done that.
Bro, he threw 30 interceptions, bro. Why don't you get that?
Did you know? Did you know? Honestly, I'm tired of this interception talk, because it's honestly the system that he played in last year with Bruce Arians.
Well, I know.
Not even on him. When
now
Andrew Luck, Carson Palmer, their first years in that system, they all had 40 turnover-worthy plays. Jameis Winston last year had 40 as well. So, like, come on.
There's a difference. And I'm going to tell you the difference. Hold on, JC.
What was he doing before that, though?
Nothing.
I just want to know, what was he doing before Bruce Arians?
He made the Pro Bowl in his second year, or his first, actually. I think
the year before he threw 30, he threw 20 interceptions, bro. He has high interception years. He's comparing Jameis Winston to Andrew Luck. I don't know why. I really don't know why.
No, I didn't compare him to Andrew Luck. You gotta relax, because you like to really make.
You just tried to say
like they're not.
You just said that man has superstar potential, and he's not playing. He's not gonna play this year unless Drew Brees gets hurt.
Listen, for one, I never compared Jameis to Andrew Luck. I said that system that Andrew Luck just so happened to play in, he had high turnover numbers in it too. So that's what I said.
Talking about the system, bro. What has he shown you? Even throw out that year. What has he shown you to say he's a superstar in the making?
No, I said potential. I never said he's a superstar in the making. I said he has potential, and he's only 25 years old. He threw for 5,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, and he can make every throw.
Why do you keep missing the interceptions?
Every throw.
Stop missing.
He can make every throw.
He threw 5,000 yards. He threw 30 touchdowns. What else did he do? Say that other stat. Stop missing it. Say the other stat. What else did he do? What else did he do? Yeah,
I'm fine with them. That won't look. Right now, I'm gonna say it. Those interceptions won't continue, and they won't be the story throughout his career.
He's not gonna play. So yeah, you're right. It won't continue. He's not playing. Like, yeah, I know he won't continue.
Okay.
He's gonna have 0-0.
You keep saying he's not gonna play. You'll see. I'm just gonna tell you. You'll see.
The only time he's gonna play is when Drew Brees retires or he gets hurt.
That's fine. That's fine.
We're not going to see much. We're going to see him throw 30 for
30. We're gonna move on, because you love to talk about Jameis Winston. You love to try to embarrass him. So I have to be the one to defend him. So you know what? I feel like let's just skip. And let's talk about Winston. Love, hate, or like the move by Jameis Winston going to the Saints?
I can care less about it.
That's not one of the answers.
I guess I feel the same way. I felt about Teddy Bridgewater. Don't love it, don't hate it. It's all right, I guess. Like, he's going there to be a backup. But they signed Taysom Hill too, so I don't really know how he's gonna do what he does. But he's not gonna play unless Drew Brees gets hurt. He's not gonna play unless Drew Brees gets hurt. And then when Drew Brees retires, they're gonna be tight because he's not that good, and he's gonna prove you wrong. But that's just my opinion.
I like it a step more than I like the Teddy Bridgewater sign. I think Jameis Winston's a good backup. I think he's automatically probably the top 2 backup in the league right now.
Top 2 backup. That's his vibe.
If Brees goes down, he can definitely win you a couple games with that talented roster. I mean, if Teddy Bridgewater last year was playing pretty well with that roster, I think Jameis Winston is better than Teddy. So I think that's a notch up in the in the backup quarterback spot. So I mean, I like it more. I strongly like it. I'm not gonna say I love it, but I strongly like it. I think that was a good signing, good backup quarterback. I strongly like it.
We know what you're gonna say.
If I had a level meter from 1 to 100, this one would be at 100. I love the move.
Man.
You know what I love so much about it? Jameis Winston. He had offers from other teams, but he said, "I want to go learn from
What
one
other
of the
teams?
best. I want to
What
go
other
learn
teams?
from one
What
of the
other
best."
teams? What other teams?
Steelers.
What
Wait,
other
hold
teams?
up. Can I finish saying what I gotta say?
The Steelers. He wasn't gonna
He
play. He wasn't gonna play. He wasn't gonna play in
But listen,
Pittsburgh.
you keep talking.
My fault.
You're not listening.
Continue. My fault. Continue.
You love to talk.
Pardon
You
me.
don't like to listen.
My fault. Continue.
So look,
Joel Winston.
he is going to learn from one of the best to ever do it in Drew Brees and one of the best offensive minds, Sean Payton. And Sean Payton is actually conservative with the football, unlike Bruce Arians, who's a risk it for the biscuit type of guy. So, like, look, Jameis Winston, if he gets the chance to play this upcoming season, you're going to see a new Jameis Winston. A Jameis Winston that might get a $20+ million contract next upcoming offseason if he gets to play, because he's going to be that good. But let's say he doesn't get to play, which you're banking on, and you better hope that doesn't happen. You better hope. But if
the Saints better hope that doesn't happen.
If he does not get to play, then next year, he'll sign with the Saints again. He'll be their starter because Taysom Hill is not a good quarterback. He's thrown like 10 passes. I don't care about Taysom Hill. Jameis Winston is better than him. Jason Winston will be the franchise quarterback for the Saints for years to come. And you'll see how good he actually is. And I can't wait. So it's a win-win for me. I might not have the last laugh right now, but I'll have the last laugh in general when it's all said and done.
So what you're telling me is that when Drew Brees retires
next year,
Jameis Winston's gonna take the ring, and he's gonna show us something different.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He's not going. Hold up. He's not going to show us something different. He's going to show us the great side of him that we see a lot, but consistently, and he's going to take away the bad things that we see from him as well consistently. He's just going to be more consistently great. That's what he's going to be.
Oh. How many years has he played? 5, right?
It's 6 year now.
6 years. And he's made the Pro Bowl 1 time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Has he made the playoffs ever?
He went 9-7 one year. Close.
I didn't ask you that. That's not what I asked you. It's not what I asked you. I asked you, close. You don't get a medal or a award or
we could debate
close.
about Jameis Winston all
I'm asking you a question.
Because if we have a dedicated segment,
JC, why didn't I get the answer to my question?
He hasn't made the playoffs. He hasn't made the playoffs.
If we have a dedicated segment to Jameis Winston,
why will we do that?
It's not going to go well for you. So we might as well just skip over this right now because you don't want things to get ugly.
What are you going to tell me?
Because they could get ugly.
What are you going to tell me about Jameis Winston? Like,
so we're moving on. Ryan Tannehill, like, love, or hate it?
I like the move. It brings consistency back to the quarterback position, and it helps them running back for next year. So, yeah, I like the move.
Based off the surprise that he had last year, I'm going to actually say I love it. And I was making fun of him last year, but I do love it. I mean, as a starter, he had a really good record. When he came in, turned the season around. I mean, the stats tell me that I have to love it. I love it. He balled out last year. It's one of the reasons the Titans went on that big win streak and went pretty far in the playoffs. So I love it.
So it's actually weird because I like this move. I don't love it. I like it. And I like it because I feel like Derrick Henry should have got paid before Tannehill. But I also don't know how well Tannehill will consistently play or if he'll stay healthy.
JC told you that last year. JC told you that last year.
Because I think that last year they ran a lot of play action. And I'm not sure what to make of it. I'm not sure if the league is going to catch up with their offense. It might. They lost their left tackle, or their right tackle, actually, in Jack Conklin. So, I don't know. The protection might be worse. I'm not really sure what to expect. Tannehill will still be a good quarterback. Last year, he just played at a great level, like great, borderline elite level. Tannehill did. Tannehill played at an elite level. Last year, he did.
No, you're ridiculous. No, you're right.
Last year, he did.
No, like JC literally told you all this last year. You told him he's a hater. And then you flip it and then try to say it just now. Now you're crazy. You have reached crazy mode.
JC last year debated me if Tannehill was a franchise quarterback. And I think he is. He is a franchise quarterback. That doesn't mean he's an elite quarterback. It just means he's a franchise quarterback.
Yo, who's better, Ryan Tannehill or Jameis Winston? I just want to.
Who's better?
Wait. I just want to hear
a pool or a beach? Like
what do you think, bro? I want to hear this.
He's going to say something dumb. Is that hard for you? One guy is starting. The other guy is no longer starting. It's obvious. Like,
I can't answer that question right now.
Too much love for both of them, I understand.
So, look, we have 3 more. I'm thinking we could just speed by this one. Dak Prescott, love, like, or hate, signed a franchise tag, $30 million.
Like it.
I like it, I guess.
I hate it. I think he should have got paid.
We know you like Dak. He's a good quarterback.
Look, Marcus Mariota to the Raiders, like, love, or hate it.
I don't know. Like it.
I hate it because I don't think he's that good.
I don't think he's that good.
I hate it too. I think that John Gruden is in love with him. Actually, in the draft, when he got drafted, John Gruden loved Mariota. Like, he was predicting him to be a star.
I hope he's not trying to get him to take Derek Carr's spot. Derek
Carr is better than him.
Yeah, I hope not. Now, last one is Andy Dalton being the backup in Dallas. Love, like, or hate it?
Hate it. He sucks. And I will stand by that till the day I die. He sucks. That's my opinion.
I like it. I think he's a solid quarterback. Nothing more than that. It's good to come off the bench. So I like it. He's solid. Look at his stats. They're not that bad.
He's not a bad quarterback. He's not
a terrible quarterback. He's just solid.
So now moving on to the last segment of the show. So which player that got traded will make the most impact on their new team? Riv, go first.
Why I always got to go first?
Because I moderated this one, and JC was supposed to do it, but I forgot, so I just did it.
Yeah, so I believe it up. Yeah, this is y'all segment right here. So,
man, I think I'm gonna go with. I picked this pick because he's just like extremely dominant, no matter who's guarding him. Like,
I think I know who it is.
He's a dominant player. I think he's giving Kyler Murray that weapon he really needs. So I'm gonna go ahead with DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's gonna upgrade that offense, and they're gonna start really looking like a really, really solid team. I think last year when they played, they lost a couple key close games because they were young and didn't have the necessary weapons. I think Hopkins is gonna change that. So I got DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
So out of the pool of teams that I had to pick from, I thought to myself, I can only pick from a team that didn't make the playoffs that acquired somebody from a trade. So Eagles were out of the question, and so were other teams that I can't remember the names of right now. But Cardinals were there with Hopkins. But is that really going to happen? Is he really going to make that much of an impact? No. The Bucks with Gronkowski, I don't know how he's going to come back. The Colts, by trading for DeForest Buckner, I'm not sure. This is a team that did not make the playoffs last year.
Are you going to pick the Jets?
This is my sleeper team of the year. See, my last 2 years have been 2 years ago were the Bears. They went 12-4. Last year, it was the Titans. And this year, I'm going to go with the team that I picked 2 years ago and the Chicago Bears by getting and trading for Nick Foles. This team is going to make the playoffs. The Chicago Bears this upcoming season.
I am.
And I'll tell you why. Mitchell Trubisky's fifth-year option was declined, which is telling me Matt Nagy wants to move on. And he got Nick Foles for a reason. He was actually Nick Foles' quarterback's coach in Kansas City. And in the one game that Nick Foles played, I know that's not a lot, but in the one game he played, he threw for 410 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 picks with a quarterback rating of 105.9.
That's in Jacksonville?
And that was in Kansas City.
Why didn't you pull up the Jacksonville game?
Because I'm not worried about Jacksonville was a horrible situation and he was injured.
How you going to do that though?
I'm not, but look, you have to listen. Yo,
he's crazy.
Nagy is an offensive mastermind and he caters to quarterbacks like Nick Foles. And look, this is how I know Foles is motivated and he's ready to take the league by storm, just how he took Carson Wentz's Eagles to the Super Bowl and won. He received an $88 million contract from the Jaguars, a 4-year deal, which was a mistake initially. But then to get traded to the Bears, he has $57 million left on his contract. But he said, I'll restructure my contract for the Bears. So now, 3 years left, $57 million goes to 3 years left, $24 million. He's taking a $33 million pay cut to play for the Bears. He's getting $8 million a year as opposed to $19 million a year, which is telling me one thing. He believes in himself, he believes in Matt Nagy, and he believes in the Bears to make a run. And that's exactly what's going to happen next year. They're going to win the NFC North. They're better than Minnesota. They're better than Green Bay. I don't even count Detroit in the mix. So they're going to win that division. And they're gonna win, and Nick Foles is gonna have a pretty solid year.
A few questions, just a few questions. You do know just because he believes in himself, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work out, right? Like you do know that, right? It worked out
with the Eagles when he won the Super Bowl.
You mean when he got plugged into a team that was already 11-2? They was already
would have never won that Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anyways, and you still have yet to tell us the stats from that Jaguars game, but chose to bring up that game from a few years ago from Kansas City. I find that funny.
Well,
but
ask
my question,
yourself.
Wait. My question. How many games did they win last year?
The Bears, 7. Yeah. Actually, no, they went 8-8.
8-8. And you think Nick Foles is a big enough upgrade for them to take Green Bay out and win the NFC North?
Not only Nick Foles. I mean, they got Jimmy Graham.
Oh, that's good.
They got Jimmy Graham. They got this rookie Cole Kmet. He's pretty good. And their defense is still stout. They got Robert Quinn. They got Tashawn Gibson. I mean, their defense is going to be elite.
The defense is going to be there, yes.
Yeah, the defense has been there the past couple of years.
But do you think Nick Foles, just by getting an old Jimmy Graham and that rookie, you're relying on a rookie, and still have Allen Robinson? I don't know their running back situation, but you think Nick Foles is that big of an upgrade? I mean,
Nick Foles can take them from 8-8 to 10-6, and it's not.
They win 2 more games.
It's not much about.
I don't know.
It's not much about Nick Foles making such a huge difference, even though he will. But it's about the Packers getting significantly worse and not adding talent. And I don't think Matt LaFleur is a good coach. I don't. And the Vikings losing Stephon Diggs and basically their whole cornerback depth. Who's going to guard any receiver on the Vikings? There's nobody. And the Bears will probably shut down the Vikings with their pass rush and with their corners against their receivers. So it's not really about the Bears that they're so great with Nick Foles. It's about the Bears being better than everybody in the NFC North.
I'm definitely interested to see this one. Definitely interested to see this Nick Foles scenario. No, I really am.
But I just want to remind you, not just any quarterback. JC, I want you to vouch for me on this. Not just any quarterback can come into a situation and be plugged in and be 3-0, have a 73% completion percentage, throw for almost 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and have a quarterback rating of 116. That was Nick Foles' Super Bowl run. Not any quarterback can do that. I don't even think Carson Wentz can do that.
What was the numbers again?
116 quarterback rating.
It don't even matter what the numbers were. That was like 2-3 years ago, bro. Tell us what he did against that first game with Jacksonville. Like, you're not throwing that number up to us. Why
Wait,
not?
the first game in Jacksonville, he threw a touchdown to DJ Chark and then got injured.
Tell me the numbers. I want to hear the numbers.
It was literally 1 for 1, 47 yards and a touchdown.
And then what happened? He got hurt?
He did
Got
get hurt.
on the play.
That's why this Gardner Minshew came in, and then they plugged Nick Foles back in, but he didn't do that well.
What do you do? What do you do, JC? I want to
He
know.
didn't do that well when he got plugged back in, though.
What do you do, Joel?
I mean, look, the problem with Foles is that
What did he
Foles
do?
got plugged out, and Minshew pulled the Foles on what Foles did to Wentz. The team rallied around Minshew. That's just how it goes. But now, Nick Foles is in a position where he's going to be the underdog now. So he's going to shine, just like he always has done in the past.
You have yet to tell me the stats, but you wanted to tell me the stats from 2-3 years ago. But you won't tell me the stats. And see that, that's why it's like it's funny to me. Like, you don't want to tell me it's bad
because it's
so
not relevant. It's not relevant.
It just happened.
It's not relevant. It's not
relevant.
relevant. No, it's not.
Bro, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. That 2017 little Super Bowl run you love to throw up, that's not the same team as the Bears that he has. I hope you know that. It's not the same team.
Yeah, the defense for the Bears is better.
Huh?
The defense for the Bears is better than that Super Bowl Eagles defense.
What? Doesn't even matter because he plays offense. So that doesn't even matter. Their offense is not the same as that 2017 Super Bowl run. You know that. JC knows that. I know that. But you keep bringing it up. I don't know why. But okay. That Kansas City, you love to bring up, not the same team. You know that. I know that. JC knows that. Different situation. But we'll see if Mr. Nicky can do what he do. I don't know what he do. We'll see.
Foles.
We'll see. We'll see.
Nick Foles, Matt, you better. I don't know what's your problem with Nick Foles. He won you a Super Bowl, your team. You should have some respect, and you should actually, before we get off the show, you should actually thank Nick Foles for winning the Super Bowl and throwing for 500 yards.
You know who you should thank? You know who you should thank?
Who should I thank?
Absolutely nobody, because you've been in a 10-year drought of not making the playoffs.
Oh, trust I think Mark Sanchez for 2009, 2010.
Bro.
I think Mark Sanchez. Yeah.
Oh,
that was my quarterback. I thank him.
Bro,
you should do the same with Foles.
That's fine.
I ain't gonna lie, Foles balled out in that Super Bowl game too. He had like 510 yards.
He did. He definitely balled out.
Nah, he balled out. He did his thing.
I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. But stop worrying about what goes on in Philly, my boy. Worry about how the fact that y'all ain't made the playoffs in 10 years. 10 long years.
Dude, that's a long
Riv.
That's a really long time.
Like, oh my God,
what did I say that was so wrong?
Time.
What did I say that was so wrong for you to throw shots at my team? All I said is that you should thank the quarterback that won you a Super Bowl. That isn't bad. That's a compliment.
Bro. You gotta understand, bro. You like to just say that without adding any context. Like, Carson Wentz wasn't gonna win the MVP that year. The defense wasn't balling. We had a pretty good offense. Like you sleeping on a lot of factors. First of all, against the Falcons game, he didn't play that good. The defense won us that game. That's number one. Number two, you have to put in the fact that Wentz he had us at a number one seed, bro. If Nick Foles started that year, he was not getting us to the number one seed. Wentz did that. Stop trying to discredit my boy.
Doesn't matter. I don't look.
It does matter.
I don't talk on hypotheticals. All I know is that he went 3-0 in the playoffs and won the Super Bowl. That's what I know. The
number one seed was key for us going 3-0.
Like, was it key? Was it key when Nick Foles threw 500 yards in Super Bowl, or no?
No, but it was key for when he had a horrible game against the Falcons. We had to win on straight defense.
Oh, but it wasn't against the Super Bowl.
No, because the Super Bowl is a neutral zone.
Oh,
you know that, right?
Oh,
the two rounds
I know.
Before are.
That's why I said it. I just think you should thank Nick Foles. I don't know. You want to write him a letter. You want to say it on a podcast. You want to shout him out. You want to add him on Instagram. You want to message him. You should do something. Just appreciate him.
Look, I can thank him. I thank him for that 2017 run. It's been downhill ever since, but I'll thank him for it. But he hasn't shown you anything since that little Super Bowl run. But I'll definitely thank him. Thank you, Nick.
All right, so I'm glad that we're going to end off the show on a high note on River thanking Nick Foles. Thank you guys for watching. Take a side, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace out.